Sermon on the Mount. That's good stuff. Keep going on the Sermon on the Mount. And as I said last week, I just want to remind of the authoritative nature of the passage of the Sermon on the Mount. Because it's no accident that Jesus was on a hillside on a mount when he gave us that sermon. Because if you remember and know your Jewish history of the Hebrew Testament, it was on a mount very long ago that God gave Moses the word or Torah. And for the Jewish audience of Matthew's Gospel, the parallel would have been obvious. This is important stuff. And Jesus is sharing his insights into our Lord, for he knows the power of living a life right unto God. Last week we had the Beatitudes as we considered what it means to be blessed in the kingdom. And yet now we see that each of us have a blessing to share. Indeed, the love, the grace, the blessing of God is not really real until we share it with others, until we let our light shine.
From the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 13 through 20, and this is from the NRSV translation. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It's no longer good for anything, but it is thrown out and trampled underfoot. You're the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under a bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. This is the word of God.
God is so seeking. Thanks be to God.
O gracious God, God of light, God, with such tenderness and mercy, such power and glory, such persistence, such love and justice. Hold us close, O Lord. Fan the flame within us, a flame that is there because of you. Help us to let our light shine before others, to really let it shine, to illuminate this world, bringing glory to you. Bless the speaking, the hearing, and the living of your holy word. So time to spice things up, right? Got to make it spicy, salty, a little seasoning, a little spice, a little something that'll make it stand out, push the limit, liven things up, and get noticed. Now, I have to admit, I'm kind of a thrill seeker myself. I have always liked to walk off the beaten path, so to speak, take the road less traveled, that sort of thing, do things that are off the norm. Probably more in my youth than anything. I was even reckless, I might say. But I had a lot of fun, and I think now still yearn for the excitement again. Maybe that's why, I started a church. It's kind of crazy in its own thing to start a church. But I've always liked this passage. Salt and light. I've been able to identify it because I'm really not a kind of couch potato kind of guy. I mean, I don't like to sit idly by and watch things passively. I want to be involved. I want to be where the action is. I want to be in the middle of things. And some may call that the salty life. But you might ask yourself, are you salty? Do you know anybody that you would consider salty? We probably know a lot of bland people, right? I don't know, you might think of yourself as kind of bland. That sort of go along with the crowd. Or is it like somebody that stands out, salty? That the guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt on Sunday morning at church. Now, maybe at Hope United that might not be so weird, but somebody, that has something about them that makes them salty. Something new, unique, something startling, something that makes you wake up and take notice. They liven things up. They're fun to be around. That's true. Sometimes we keep our salty friends sort of at arm's length. Because if we were around them all the time, we sort of go nuts. But they're so much fun at parties, though, because you don't know what they're going to do. See, the salty life. Now, maybe I'm way off on salty, but of course, when it comes to Jesus, what is Jesus talking about here? What does Jesus mean when he talks about a salty life on the Sermon on the Mount? I mean, anybody can get noticed. Doing wrong things can get you noticed. Ask any teenager. But what is Jesus really talking about here to let our light shine before others? The Word, all these things that Jesus is talking about on the Sermon on the Mount. And if you think about it, the way that Jesus lived his life, helping others, feeding the hungry, giving sight to the blind, healing the broken, the way Jesus could look upon a person and see only the good, could look in at the heart and all the potential that each of us had. Jesus forgave sins and restored life. And as I think about it, this is what we must be about. This is what we must be doing to let our light shine, to be salty, to have a light given off, a glow that is emitted, a kind of ambiance that is shed whenever something good and just is done. It's like a little fire goes off from the Holy Spirit, and when you see it, when you're a part of it, when you even just catch a glimpse of it, it warms your soul. I'm proud of Hope United and the ways that we are involved in outreach and mission here in our church. And look at that annual report, and as small a church as we are, adding up all that Millie said that we gave this year to mission, it was over $13,000. I mean, that's impressive, folks, for a church our size. And we gave it to various projects, mission things, denominational support. We gave things locally and globally through special offerings. From the very beginning, we made it, we covenanted that we give 10% of our general offering to outside things, outside ourselves, our tithe, if you will. And on top of that, then we have all these special monthly missions that are pass-through accounts. They just go on top of everything, like the one great hour of sharing and Week in Compassion that we have this month. But even beyond the numbers, I think of the ways that we offer food to the homeless in our midst. A bite to eat, a bottle or two of water, maybe some chips or a cookie, but it is the love that we offer there that is grounded in what Jesus has told us to do. We give candy to kids at Halloween. We display our bold witness at the Red Poppy Parade. We want to let people know in this town that we are a church that welcomes all people, no matter where they are on their life's journey. We know that we are to let our light shine, to live a salty life, to bring zest and seasoning of life to another person's life today. Jesus is telling us that we have to be about bringing zest and flavor to this world. Tell another person, taste it, to live, to claim it, to get swept up in it, and to live it. That you've got to live a salty life, a spicy life, to add flavor and seasoning, good seasoning to this world. Joy, healing, and a little love and hope to a person's life. We have to do that individually, but also as a church, collectively, to be spicy And I don't know about you, but from the beginning and even now, we're not a bland nursing home food kind of church, are we? I mean, that's not what I want to be a part of. We want to keep on being salty, to let our light shine, to be a beacon of hope in this community, to show Georgetown that we really believe what we say we believe, because we are out there doing it. We're living it. It's true that we stand apart simply because we are an open and affirming church. We accept all people. But I am telling you that Hope United is also known in this community because we help people. Because people know that we care. Because people find hope in their lives because of what we do and because of who we are. And even if some folks disagree about how we take the Bible or how we do communion, or because we take certain stands on issues of justice, or that we're open and affirming, still folks in this town need to know that, that might bother me a little bit, but Hope United, they do a lot of good work in this town. They really help people. We need to remember that Jesus is telling us how to live right by God. That in this whole Sermon on the Mount, that Jesus is giving us instruction so that we can fulfill our role as servants of the Lord. And all these things that Jesus is about to say, because he's really just getting started on the Sermon on the Mount, we're supposed to live it, folks. Even the tough parts. And there are some tough parts in the Sermon on the Mount. Things like turning the other cheek, and loving our enemies, and forgiving those, praying even for those who persecute us. Jesus wants us to do these things in the Sermon on the Mount because that's one way that we let our light shine in this world. Shine with the light of the faithful light. And just as it goes on, Jesus doesn't come to throw out the law, but to fulfill it. That's why Jesus puts that jab in at the end. Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom. The religious elite had lost their way. They got lost in all the minutiae of the text. They thought that was the way that you got right with God. And what Jesus says, well, yeah, that's life of piety can help. That's right. That's important. But it's only the beginning. If you really want to see the kingdom, then you have to show compassion. You have to show love. You have to show grace and forgiveness and justice. You have to help people. You have to stand up for the most vulnerable. So often we start feeling indifferent. It happens to me. I get settled in my faith. I probably even get complacent. At other times, some may even say my faith has grown stagnant. And it's lost its flavor, its saltiness. But I know that God is always asking us to spice it up, to add flavor and seasoning so we live that salty life. The truth of the matter is you just can't sit on your butt all the time, follow the Ten Commandments, a bunch of rules, and think that satisfies God. Oh, Pastor Ron, but I follow the Ten Commandments. I try to maintain good morals. I don't ever take the name of God in vain. I pray every day. I start off right with a devotional. I have even used that whole upper room some days. I don't say an unkind word about anyone. That's all good, my friends. A life of piety and living right by God is good. But in some ways, if they're not reaching out, I call those kind of people couch potato Christians. Good meaning folks, right? Good folks. But they don't have a clue that their inaction is as much a sin as those that don't do wrong. Even though that they don't do anything wrong, because they're not out there showing their love, helping people, living that grace in life, they're in error. Now, I don't want to motivate you by guilt. I make a big deal. I've never tried to do it. But I want to help you see the kingdom. Because we all want to get closer to Christ. And if you want to get closer to Christ, at least in this passage, Jesus is saying, look, you have got to let it shine. You've got to live a life where your light is showing of your faithful life. And we must realize there is a cost to discipleship. Even the great reformer Martin Luther knew that. He wrote one time that a religion that gives nothing, costs nothing, and suffers nothing is worth nothing. We know that Jesus certainly lived that cost, even to death on a cross. And then he turns around and invites us to do the same. So we've got to let the light shine, to be the salt in a world that desperately needs Jesus Christ. Let your light shine. How can anyone know the love of the Lord if they don't first feel the love of another human being? God uses us in some strange way. I mean, here I'm a minister and people ask me all these things, in a lot of ways I don't understand it completely. I don't know exactly why. But the truth is that we are the hands and the heart of Jesus Christ. Every time that Jesus wants to give somebody a hug, he uses one of us to do it. Because we are the loving arms of Jesus Christ. Let me tell you an illustration. So this comes from When God Shows Through by Jerry Shirley. And the story of a little girl and her mom. They were driving home from church, and the little girl kind of asked this question in the car. Mommy, there's something about the preacher's message this morning I don't understand. Well, what is it? Well, she replied, well, the preacher said that God is bigger than we are. She said, God is so big that God could hold the whole world in God's hand. Is that true? Oh, yeah, that's true, honey. But Mommy, she also said that God comes to live inside of us. That when we have this relationship with Jesus, our Savior, then God comes to live in our heart. Is that true too, Mom? Oh yes, that's true as well. But I'm confused. She had this puzzled look on her face. I mean, if God is bigger than us, and God lives in us, wouldn't God show through? Wouldn't God shine through? You might ask yourself, is Jesus showing through in your life? A salty life, to let your light shine, to really shine for others. I'm going to tell you another story. This one, I thought of this one because this was one that Jan really liked. So when I came across it, I thought, I might tell this story. It comes from James Moore, that some things are too good not to be true. Several centuries ago in a mountain village in Europe, a wealthy nobleman wondered what kind of legacy that he should give to leave his townspeople. When he made a good decision, he decided he would build them a church. And nobody was permitted to see the plans or the inside of the church until it was finished. And at its grand opening, the people gathered, they marveled at the beauty of this new church. Everything had been thought of and included. It was a masterpiece. And then somebody said, look, wait a minute. It's kind of dark in here. Where are the lamps? Why is it so dark? How is the church going to be lighted? And then the nobleman pointed to brackets in the walls throughout the church. And he said, then he handed every family a lamp. And they were supposed to bring that lamp to the church every time they came to worship. Each time you are here, the nobleman said, the place where you are seated will be lighted. But every time you're not here, that place will be dark. This is to remind you that whenever you fail to participate in the church, some part of God's house will be dark. Now we know we have a light to share. And although the story of the church with no lamps, it encourages us to attend weekly worship. I get that. But we all know that being part of the body of Christ is so much more than simply coming to church on Sunday morning. To have the salty life, we must live our lives in a way and so that the Lord's grace is demonstrated in our action. That we feel God's presence in our lives and we share the gospel to all that we need. To reach out to others, to love our neighbor. Faith calls us out of our ordinary lives to be salty. To be a part of something greater. To experience all the joys and frustrations of discipleship. And to know the peace of Christ along the journey. Let your light shine